Tonight, we are going to be teaching on the Feast of Unleavened Bread and First Fruits. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, Hag HaMatzah, was the feast that actually intertwines with the Passover Seder. You see, when we are eating the Seder, the Feast of Unleavened Bread begins. It is the first day of a 7-day feast of eating matzah. As the Lord commanded, we are not to eat any leavened type of bread or food, but only matzah. So,
there it is.
Yeah.
So let's go to the scriptures and see what the Lord commands. It's found in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4 through 8. Now remember, Leviticus 23 is the summary chapter of all 7 feasts given by the Lord to Israel, to the Jewish people. In verse 4 it says this, "These are the appointed times of the Lord, holy convocations, which you shall proclaim at the times appointed for them." So these are the 7 feasts of the Lord given to the Jewish people, starting with the Passover.
Verse 5, in the first month, on the 14th day of the month at twilight, is the Lord's Passover. So the day of Passover is the 14th of Nisan. This day is considered the day of preparation for the Passover. Families usually work all day long to get ready for the Seder that night.
Then in verse 6, "Then on the 15th day of the same month, there is the feast of unleavened bread to the Lord. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread." The 15th day actually begins the night of the 14th day. So starting at the Passover Seder, we will eat 7 days of matzah, unleavened bread. We are not to eat any leavened bread, but only matzah for those 7 days. We are allowed to eat other foods like meat and vegetables, but just no leavened items. In verse 7 says this, "On the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any laborious work." A holy convocation is like having a sacred assembly or service at our congregations and churches. We are not to do laborious work, which means no hard working in the fields, but we are allowed to prepare and cook food on this day. So this day is not a complete Sabbath day where we do no work at all, as many teachers out there believe, but it is a holy day where we can do some work.
Verse 8, "But for 7 days you shall present an offering by fire to the Lord. On the 7th day is holy convocation. You shall not do any laborious work." Now while the temple stood, the Jewish people were having animal sacrifices on each day of the feast. We cannot offer these sacrifices today because there is no temple. Now let's turn to Exodus chapter 12, verse 37 to 39 to see why the bread was unleavened.